Our next keynote speaker knows all about what it takes to achieve gold. Rowdy Gaines is not only a 3-time Olympic gold medalist for Team USA, but he's also worked for NBC as an analyst, commentating on the last 7 or so Olympic Games. Many of us know Rowdy as the voice of American swimming, but greater than that, he's one of swimming's greatest ambassadors. He shares his love and passion for the water, and it's something that we all share on this video call. He's a member of the International Swimming Hall of Fame and remains active in masters swimming, and he truly is an advocate for our sport. Joining us from Orlando, Florida, it's my honor to introduce Rowdy Gaines to the World Swim Gala.
Yay! Hey, thank you, Farrah. Thank you so much, Caitlin. I don't know how in the world, why didn't you put me first? Why do I have to follow Caitlin? That's the problem I have with it. She's so good. You know what? When I see Caitlin, it reminds me of, I called every one of her races in the Olympics, obviously, and most of her NCAA championships with USC. But I'll never forget that 800 free relay in Athens. Wasn't that the most amazing? You anchored, right? You anchored that relay. Natalie led it off. I think Carly was on there, and Dana, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so it was a world record. That for those of you that don't remember back in 2004, 16 years ago, that world record was one of the oldest world records in history. It was 17 years old. It had been set by the East Germans, right?
Yes, your memory is phenomenal, Rowdy. It blows my mind.
Well, I'm such a nerd when it comes to total nerd. But I'll never forget Caitlin anchoring that relay to that world record, and it was a pretty cool moment for me. People ask me all these questions about what are my top swims as a broadcaster, and that would definitely be in my top 10, just because of the fact that you guys were so special, and to break. Especially because it was an East German world record, which was tainted, right? Yeah, and and of course, all your other races. She just missed winning a medal in 2000. Didn't you swim like the 800 free, the 400 free, the 400 IM, the 200 fly?
Yes.
It was like
the
you
short
swam.
stuff.
Oh my gosh, you swam so many of them. Anyway, I could go on and on about it.
Thank you, Rowdy.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you that. I echo Caitlin's sentiment that we're going to get through this. I can kind of feel their pain a little bit. It's a little apples and oranges on what you're going through now. But in 1980, I went through a similar process in the fact that I didn't get a chance to go to the Olympics in 1980 because of the boycott. Our country, in case you don't remember, if you don't remember 2004, you're certainly not going to remember 1980. But in 1980, our country decided not to attend the Olympic Games that were held in Moscow in the Soviet Union. Back then, Soviet Union, now Russia. But it was a pretty tough moment for me and hundreds of other athletes, because I think Caitlin can tell you, as a swimmer, the pinnacle of success in our sport is the Olympics. We don't have anything higher than that. It's the top of the mountain. And to have that taken away, and that 4-year journey taken away, was pretty dramatic. But I always say that for me, I came out in a very blessed way, in the fact that I had 1984, and I had that Olympic experience. There were 336 athletes in 1980 that made the Olympic team that didn't make it in 1976 and also didn't make it in 1984. So that was their lone Olympics. And when you talk about names that, again, a lot of you probably aren't familiar with, but Craig Beardsley and Sue Walsh and Glenn Mills and so many others. The list goes on and on. Jesse Basayo, the list goes on and on about the fact that all of them would have been gold medal favorites in 1980 and never got a chance to compete. So I feel a lot of those athletes that are missing opportunities, whether it's an Olympic trials or perhaps even Olympic Games, or even if it's just their local regional meet or state high school championship. I feel your pain. I really do. And as Caitlin said, we're going to get through this. The difference between the boycott of 1980 and now is the fact that the whole world is in this together. So I've always felt like swimming is this family. I know this sounds really corny, but I always have considered Caitlin in a way my little sister. Obviously, she's my little Olympic sister, but she's also my little swimming sister. And I think she will tell you as you meet more and more people involved in the sport, you're not going to remember the gold medals and blue ribbons and best times as much as you remember the relationships and the friendships you make in the sport. I will tell you that I didn't start swimming until I was a junior in high school, 17 years old. Caitlin made her first Olympics when I started swimming. So I started very late, so I never had that age group career. And the reason why I started swimming was because I failed in 5 other sports: football, baseball, basketball, golf, and tennis. Don't laugh. I seriously did. I got cut in all 5 of them. No. But I never gave up. And swimming was something that was sort of next in line. And I fell in love with it and started, the dream was born anyway on me trying to succeed as much as possible. Certainly not as an Olympian, but that was a dream that I had, was to be good in swimming, for lack of a better term. And, but my point there is that was a long time ago. I'm an old man now. And, in the spring of 1976 is when I started swimming. And I can tell you, I am still friends with those people today. Even today, 44 years later, I'm still friends with those high school swimmers that I went to high school with. Certainly my college my college teammates. So for me, it was always about the relationships I built and the friendships I built in swimming. So you're going to look back on this as Caitlin said, sort of a blip on the radar. It's something that we're all living through together and that we can fight through together. You go through the same emotions I probably went through: denial and anger, and then you end up going through acceptance. And then, possibly you go through motivation, because you're going to be motivated now more than ever to come back from this, because that's who we are. That's who we are as people, and that's who we are as a swimming family, that we're all there to support each other. So I can just tell you that for me, I think everybody was put on this earth for a very specific reason. You were all put on this earth because you have this gift inside you. I don't know what that gift is. Maybe for those that are listening and watching, maybe the gift is swimming. Maybe one day you will go to the Olympics. But it doesn't have to be that. You have that gift, and you're going to end up sharing that gift with the world. And on my gravestone, it'll probably read Rowdy Gaines -swimmer, and I'm okay with that for sure. It's it's okay to be known as a swimmer. I hope it's a lot more than that. I hope it also says good father, good husband, good son, good friend, et cetera, et cetera. But I know that I was blessed with swimming. Swimming has done so much more for me than I could ever begin to give back to it. I'll stack our sport against any other in the world for the values you learn every single day. Words I'm not going to bore you with, I promise, but you think about dedication and commitment and responsibility and teamwork and setting goals. Those are all words that Caitlin knows all too well. And if you ask any swimmer, I don't care if they're 8 years old or 80 years old, they probably can share those same words with you, because our sport is not for the faint of heart, but it's also something that you wear as a badge of honor. So anyway, it's really cool to be with you. Ferris, this was a great idea. I think it's something that we should do more of over the next month or two after knowing I think we're going to be inside for a little bit longer. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and good luck and be safe out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Rowdy.
Yay!
Yeah, Rowdy, you're an incredible ambassador for the sport, and I think we can all feel you're getting emotional when you talk about the connection you have and the impact it's had on your life. And I think a lot of the people listening can share similar impact to their life. we look up to you. In case,
Well, thank you.
yes, thank you, Rowdy. So in case our attendants missed this on Twitter, a few weeks ago, Dan Hicks and Rowdy did a special commentary on a 200 IM that a swimmer did while quarantined in an inflatable pool in their backyard. If you haven't seen it on Twitter, we'll like retweet it and stuff. It's pretty amazing. And so
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome. So for his gold plate award, he's getting the quarantine commentary. You'll have
That's
to
good. Awesome.
At this point in the program, we're going to do a little Q&A. So I'm looking at the now. If you guys have questions, or maybe you've already stated a question, go ahead and repaste it. And maybe if you have a specific question for Rowdy or Caitlin, direct who the question is for. Rowdy, Caitlin, if you see a question that's addressed to you,
I just saw one.
go for it.
So this would be a question for both Caitlin and I, I'm assuming. What was your favorite swimming moment? Well, for me, I'll start. For me personally, obviously, it was the 100-meter freestyle in Los Angeles, the individual event I won the gold medal, because just the fact that it had been all of a sudden a 4-year journey that turned into an 8-year journey. So for me, it came to an end with that gold medal. Again, I will say that for me, I learned a lot more from the journey than actually winning the gold medal. But certainly that was the highlight of my career. From a swimming standpoint, I already mentioned Caitlin's race, but I think the greatest race in Olympic history that I've ever witnessed was the 400 freestyle relay in Beijing for men when Jason Lezak anchored it. I think that's a sort of an obvious choice, but if you ever YouTube it or Google it or whatever and look at it, it's pretty special.
I just saw a question that I loved, and it says, what's a race you wish you could rewatch live and not know how it will turn out? So mine, that was a really, so when you say what's your favorite swimming moment, and this, it's actually the same. So my 400 IM in 2004 was one of my, it's my favorite, most proud moment in my swimming career. In 2000, I got fourth, as I shared, and the girl that beat me, Yana Klitschkova, beat me by 7.5 seconds. 4 years later, after going through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of speed bumps, a lot of injuries, a lot of fighting sickness and illness, and quite frankly, just wanting to give up, I was in a race of a lifetime with Yana Klitschkova, who is considered unbeaten, and she was the defending champion, world record holder. I mean, she was the real deal. And it came down to the very, very end, and I got silver by 12/100ths of a second. But I was stuck at a plateau for 4.5 years. And all I wanted to do was break 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Like literally, that's all I wanted to do. It wasn't about getting first, second, third, fourth. It was like, go your best, do your best, break 4:40, because I've been stuck there. So when I looked up, I saw Sandino, Caitlin, USA, second. I was like, okay, all right. And then I'm like, wait, I was like making sure that I was looking at the right lane to match the right, lane on the scoreboard. And I saw my time, and I went 4:34 after being stuck at 4:40 for so long. And I just lost it. I started jumping up and down and celebrating, and people thought that I like won. It's like, no, you got silver. And I was like, no, I'm so excited. I just broke this shattered this plateau that I was stuck at for so long. And that to me was like my personal gold medal. So that's like my number one swimming memory in my mind. But it's such a rad race. And of course, Rowdy is just doing an exceptional job commentating the whole, the feedback for the whole race, because we were literally neck and neck. And I would love to watch that race and not know who's going to win, because it literally, you can't tell. Like, she beats you by a fingernail. I always joke I'm 5'7" and she's 6'2", so there's my 12/100ths of a second. But it's the most surreal and pretty incredible swimming memory that I have in my life, and one that I would love to watch not knowing.
Awesome. A lot of other questions. If you guys see one that you want to answer, jump in.
So yeah, Paris, here's one for both of us from Heya. Zahar, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who is one of the friendliest people you ever met during your sport? Well, I'll start again. So for me, obviously, the amazing woman that's with me today is one of the friendliest people I've ever met. But if you go back, Tracy Calkins is probably the friendliest person I've ever seen in the sport, where absolutely not one person I ever met disliked her. She is that amazing. Also one of the greatest swimmers in history. And then Caitlin Sandano, from a current standpoint, is also just incredibly friendly.
Thank you. I would say, and I'm sure Rowdy would agree with this, that our sport has exceptional human beings.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm really proud of. And not only, are they great in the pool, I think they have just their head screwed on right. They're very hardworking and self-motivated and diligent. And most times, I know when I was at USC, they said that swimmers had the best GPAs. So very intelligent human beings as well that go on to do great things in their lives afterwards. And I mean, there has been I have the best teammates, and like Rowdy said, the teammates that you make through this sport is going to be your lasting memories that, you'll never forget. And for me, my Olympic roommate for both Olympics was Diana Munns, and she's just like the most friendly, upbeat, most outgoing person. So I'm proud to be a swimmer and affiliated with such great human beings in this sport.
So, Caitlin, here's a question. I think maybe we were just talking about it before we came on, and I think this is a common question as I'm reading through these. So just some tips on how to stay in shape when we're out of water. That's like a common question right now.
Absolutely.
Do you want to tackle that first?
Yeah, I mean, I can share what I've been doing. I'm not the expert. Actually, my husband is. He's in the health and wellness industry. The first thing that I think that you really can control right now, because I know it's a little bit more challenging, is making sure that you're treating your body well with nutrition. I think people are it's like a joke that, we're eating so much, we're eating more often, and we find comfort in food. But that is something that you can really control right now, is controlling your nutrition, what you're consuming and putting into your body. So obviously I'm all about moderation. I'm like an 80-20. I'm healthy like 80% of the time. But it's something that I would really like to motivate you to, is just be aware of what you're feeding your body, because that is how the fuel, and that's how you're taking care of yourself. Great hydration. Make sure that you're not getting dehydrated during this time. And something too that for me, I know I'm getting more sleep. We're home more, and I don't have to get up as early. And I think that is huge, especially for our younger athletes out there that are, growing and have growth spurts coming. Get that sleep right now. And as far as the physical aspect of it, for me specifically, we're blessed that we have an exercise bike in our room. It's an Aerodyne. So we have arms are going, legs are going. So it's a really hard workout. We're sweating, we're drenched back there. And then we just get creative. Like literally before this, we were in the back alley, and, we had some weights and some stretch cords, and we're tying it up to the carport outside of our house. So just using what you have. But what's so great right now is that the internet is just full of workout ideas right now. But be smart. Like, I know a lot of young swimmers, I don't know if running's the best thing for you. I know it's easy to get outside and go out and about, but it's a lot of pounding on your bones, your knees, your joints. But again, that's up to your coaches and your physical therapists and whatnot. I personally don't enjoy running that much, so that's not my favorite. I think doing yoga or Pilates, which is something that you could do through, YouTube stations right now, get a mat, put it, on the floor. I think I've seen Katie Hoff has been doing these awesome workouts. She asked me to join one. I'm like, I'm busy today, but I'll be doing hopefully one with her in the near future. So there's a lot of resources out there. You just need to tap into them, and you have to take ownership. It's really easy to be like, I'm going to watch a movie instead. So and I find some days I'm more motivated than others, but that would be my 2 cents. Rowdy, you probably have some good info on that too.
Well, no, I'll just say that you're right, Caitlin. I think as swimmers, we are so focused on staying in shape, being out of the water. Everybody's doing the kinds of things to stay aerobically fit, and that's all you really need to do. Think about this. This is what I've been told. I don't know this to be factual, but I was told that every day you're out of the water, it takes about a half a day to get the feel for the water back. So, for example, if you're out of the water for 2 weeks, it's going to take you about a week to get the feel for the water back. So let's say we're all, we stop this in the middle of March, and you're not going to get back until middle of June. So that's 3 months. So it's going to take you about 6 weeks to get back into it, and then you'll be back into it. So this is a time where it's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to be upset about it. And it's okay to kind of, I think you said it in your talk earlier, it's okay to kind of reset, to rejuvenate your emotions, your mental well-being, because your mental well-being is so important to be good in swimming physically. If you don't have good mental well-being, if you're not mentally stable as far as getting back in the water, you're not physically going to be stable. So this is a good chance to kind of just push the reset button and get back into it.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ferris, there was a question for you. What inspired you to do this?
Sure, I'll hop in. I think I mentioned it in the intro, but the reality is, we're away from the pool. We're at home. We're not really doing anything else. So how do we bring the world together? Because, right now I think there was a Pro Series meet going on this weekend.
Yeah, a mission.
People were looking forward to trials. We wanted to hear Caitlin and Rowdy's voice anyway at this time. And so because we recognize that a lot of things have been shut down, a lot of people miss out on their swim banquets. A lot of people had competitions that they were looking forward to. And this is an opportunity not just to perform athletically, but to see other people that share the same passion and are working towards similar goals as yourself. So we figured, hey, let's put something together. We know that everyone's going to be at home, and let's mix it up a little bit, because another point is most people are not, dressing up in a suit and a dress, putting makeup on. So let's try and make it more creative and make it more fun.
Perfect. So cool.
Something just came in from Pulaski. It says, anyone been in touch with Allison Schmidt? Have you talked to Allison lately, Caitlin?
Yes, actually, she reached out to me because it was Bob's birthday. Was that last week or the week before? She said, "Can you send a video for Bob?" But yeah, I mean, she's dedicated.
She's committed. Okay, good.
I see her moving forward, and like they commented, she was swimming really well again, and this is something, with my position with ISL and recruiting for new teams this season, I spoke to a lot of seniors that didn't get their NC2As, right? And so what I'm trying to encourage them to think about is that silver lining is that now you have another year to get stronger, fitter, more motivated, more experience. This can be actually the biggest blessing in disguise. Yes, we are athletes. We like structure. We like plans. We like keeping to those plans. But imagine if you could just, like Rowdy said, reset, refocus, keep this right. You have a whole nother year to be better. So that is kind of, for Allison, obviously she's already a legend, and she, like we said, this will probably, I don't want to speak for her, but could possibly be her last, Olympics. But she has, like anybody else, time to improve. Like I said during my talk, this is a time where we can really work on being the best versions of ourselves, because we have all this more time to do so.
One of the questions was about seeing Katie Ledecky, I think, in one of her first Olympics. And Rowdy, I would want to expand this question for you. You've known and seen so many incredible athletes, Caitlin, Michael Phelps, Ledecky, other athletes from other countries. What do you think is that differentiator when you have an athlete that just stands out amongst already incredible athletes?
Well, it's funny because, I got that question too. Watching Caitlin back in 2012, that was the first time I remember watching her at one of the pro swims. I mean, what did I say?
Caitlin. Katie, Caitlin.
Did I say Caitlin?
I was like, I was way done then.
Caitlin, Katie, Catherine. Well, it's funny you said that's a good way to jump in, because the first time I saw Katie, I called her Catherine because her name is Catherine Ledecky. So on the heat sheet, it was Catherine, right? So the whole race, the whole 800, she won it. I was with Ted Robinson. I'll never forget it. The whole race, I was calling her Catherine Ledecky. I go, boy, this little Catherine Ledecky, she's going to be pretty good one day. Again, this is just my humble opinion, but I think she's the greatest female swimmer in history. But for what she has done over the last 8 years, nothing like this has ever been done in our sport. Even with Michael. I mean, obviously Michael's the greatest swimmer, period, in history. Nobody's even close. But even Michael didn't have the kind of dominance that Katie had during that 5, 6, 7 year stretch. So she is the one that kind of thrives on working out, thrives on failing miserably, as I think her coach Bruce Gimmel told me one time. He said she loves to fail. She pushes herself to fail every single workout, and she's got a great love affair with the water. And I think that's a big part of it. You have to love what you do, and she loves swimming. I don't think you have to love it every single second. But the key word is consistency, right? You have to consistently love what you do. And Katie and Caitlin are both like that.